Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is our Best of 2023 showcase. We are showcasing some of the best games of 2023, and we have, for the final of our first day, we have Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the Teal Mask. I'll hand it over to the runner and commentary, let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Iron. I've been on the show before. If anyone doesn't know me, I run mostly Pokemon speedruns. Sometimes I do some ROM hacks or fan games, or I've also done a lot of the Switch titles. Today I'll be running the first DLC. I was about to say the DLC, but we have the second part of the DLC for Scarlet and Violet that just released on Wednesday or Thursday this week, depending on where you are in the world. So looking forward to showing off the first part today. Yeah, that's it. And that's it for me. I guess Gavin is my commentator today. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey there, I'm Gavin, Gavin NBD, and I run a lot of Pokemon games, primarily on the Switch, and including this one. I've done some runs of the DLC and the side stories, the main stories, and yeah, just excited to be here today and to showcase the run.
Okay, just bear with me 1 second before we get started. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, should be fine now. All right, good to go. So right now I'm going to be, so this game, if anyone hasn't seen a speedrun of it, for the single stories, which is the Teal Mask, is included in that list. We usually, at least in the English side of things, we start from a save after finishing the school introductory portion of the game, which is about 50 minutes. In the Japanese community, they start from the beginning in every single category. So I'm just going to set my time to be at 1 p.m. That'll be for a very specific reason. We'll get to that very shortly. But when I start moving, we'll start the timer, and I'll count you in when we get there. So I'm just going to go into the game now. Oops, that's not what I want to do. And so yeah, we're saving quite a bit of introductory time by doing this. It's made the run a lot more enjoyable. I don't know if I'd run these categories as much if we had to start from the beginning.
Yeah, having to reset for starters and go through the whole 45-minute intro, and I'm very glad that we decided as a community to just start here and make it a lot easier to knock out hour and a half, 2-hour runs.
All right, so now we're in the game. So when I get on my ride, I'll count us down. We'll get going. So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so Gavin, you want to explain what the heck I'm doing as we start things off here?
Yeah, so very first thing is a quick shopping trip. We have a little bit of money to start, and Iron's going to be picking up some X items.
One of you and one of you. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Primarily X attack, and that we'll be using throughout the run. And X items basically raise your stats while in battle. They raise them 2 stages, as opposed to some older Pokemon games where they only raise them 1 stage. So they're very beneficial for completing battles quickly, and ideally one-hit KOing some key enemies.
Well, I do want to grab this.
And then making another quick shopping trip to pick up a held item. Yep, there we go, the Muscle Band, which increases the power of all physical moves by 20%. The 20% now? It used to be 10.
Its Muscle Band is 10%.
It is 10, okay.
Yeah. The elementary items like the Charcoal, Miracle Seed are 20%.
Right.
Anyone who's done a run of this, they might think, what is this guy doing? I'm doing a lot of extra safety stuff right now. This run while this is the fastest route, it is also there's a lot of very scary moments in the run. We're going to be using a lot of very inaccurate moves. So I'm going to be playing a little bit extra safe. Also, there's a lot of ranges. We want to avoid, if we're dealing with a range and the damage range as well as an inaccurate move, it's not a fun time. So we're going to try to eliminate as much of that as possible. Last time we were on, this run was actually shown on Hotfix when the DLC first came out. I think Etiquette was on, and he was running the Espathra route. which is a pretty nice sort of fairly fast run that's really good for if you're a newer runner for this category. But there was a lot of routing activity to find something that was faster, and a lot of people tried a lot of different things. Gavin, you even tried something a little out of the box as well. You can talk about that a little bit later. But we eventually kind of settled on this main, which I'm about to catch very shortly here. While I do this very tricky jump. All right.
It looks pretty clean.
I practiced that a bit today. I haven't missed it once today, so I'm glad to not flub it live.
I still just go for the safety, like take the extra second or two and go the long way.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to be hunting for a very specific mon. It should be pretty easy to spot. It might take a little while to spawn though. But we've got a very, very healthy estimate here. So I am confident we'll find one eventually. There we go. All right, perfect. And it's a Meditite.
I'm sure what everyone was expecting.
This mod is pretty busted. We'll talk a little bit about it later. That was also a guaranteed catch as well, because I got a backstrike plus used a dusk ball, which is nice. There's another one actually nearby. I hopefully don't need to catch that one. I am going to be checking this thing's stats. Fighting Terra, and that is fine, although fighting Terra is kind of annoying, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, so since Meditite is dual type, psychic, and fighting, there's 50-50 shot of it having a terror type of one of those two types. Ideally would be psychic, but it can make fighting work.
Yeah, for PB attempts, we would reset there. I actually don't even know if the actual IVs are good enough, but I am playing a little bit extra safe, picking up some extra items, so I actually am just going to run no matter what my stats are. I'll take it. It's just going to be that nature, which is going to be an issue, potential. Well, the nature's not an issue either. I have Jolly, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so Jolly being minus special attack and plus speed.
Yeah, the minus special attack is... I actually do use a couple special attacks in the run. Oh, I messed that up. All good, though. I'm just going to check to make sure I have my stats down again. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to go here. Yeah.
And what Iron was just doing also was picking up EXP candies, so scattered throughout both the main area of Paldea and Kitakami are EXP candies, which we'll be getting even more of to come, and those are going to be our key source of leveling up our Meditite.
Yeah, these games are a bit different than previous main series games in that there's a lot more movement associated with the run, and efficiently picking up experience candies as well as rare candies that as quickly as possible, so that we can handle a lot of the fights. And obviously striking a balance between, we might want to pick up more to have safer fights, but that takes longer. So there's a balance between maybe risking some fights a bit more versus spending more time picking up candies or whatever, what have you. So that's what's made this game really fun to route in terms of the various mains and the various categories that have been ran so far.
Yeah, that was very key in kind of the development of the routes, is seeing what Pokemon you could use and seeing how few candies you could get away with picking up, and seeing which specific paths are the most optimal. So, the path we might see here today might not be the same somebody else takes, depending on how many candies they need. And there are a few different, still like competitive Pokemon, different routes that are used, even though we're just showcasing the Meditite one today.
All right, well, I've got some I've got some good news. My attack is perfect.
Oh, very nice.
30 to 31 IV. Special attack is as bad as it can be. It's not really going to matter too much. There are a couple fights in the main route where we would actually use an inaccurate move instead if our special attack isn't good enough. But since I'm going to be leveling up a bit more, I'll be able to just still use the special attack.
And I believe Meditite and eventually Medicham, the attack and special attack stats are not too dissimilar, but that's the base stats. But
yes,
the key ability we'll be taking advantage of is Pure Power, which doubles the attack stats and will come in very handy.
Yep, for sure. So Pure Power it's kind of weird. You might think, why not just give Medicham twice as much attack? Because that's what Pure Power does, it doubles Medicham's attack. Why not just give it 120 base attack? Maybe it would be really busted if they gave it another ability on top of that. But that makes this Pokemon pretty solid for this category. It's also Psychic type, which is very, very key. We're going to see a lot of Poison types in this run. Spoiler alert. And Psychic just works really well. And there's not too many Ground type Mons that are both have good attack and good speed. You also want to be fast as well. Medicham has decent speed. It's got 80 base speed. But there's not much ground type wise. You can technically get Gliscor in the DLC area. I looked at that a little bit, but it's not as fast as Medicham and some of the other options that are there as well.
Yeah, and some of those other options that have gained traction, including the Espathra that Iron mentioned earlier, Gardevoir and Gallade, both have runners in the community that are championing those two routes. And yeah, I would say those four are kind of the main competitors. I've tried a number of different mains, as other people have, to try to also be competitive, but while it's fun to try out different alt mains, those four have kind of separated themselves from the rest.
Yeah, I looked at Lucario as well. Steel is quite nice against Poison because it doesn't take damage from Poison moves, but there's one Mon that has a very strong fighting type attack. So that made that Lucario not so good. And what did you look at again? You looked at Espeon, right?
I do have an Espeon route, and that's what I also ran this morning to kind of get myself reacquainted. And some other ones I've tried out are, let's see, Mischievous, Gelidirge, Donphan.
Oh, right, yeah.
Zangoose was fun. Belly Drum Zangoose. A little risky, especially with that powerful fighting move that comes up.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I would like to get back into it and start playing around with them some more to see what else could be viable.
Yeah, especially now that the second DLC has come out. There's interest in sort of doing a full game run, which combines the any percent run as well as both DLC sections. And whether the Mon that we use for any percent, which is Flamigo, will be viable for the full game run kind of remains to be seen at this point. I haven't played the second DLC, so I have no idea what really is available there, but people are looking at some interesting ideas using Mons from that area.
Yeah, and I have not made it very far in the second DLC either, so you don't have to worry about spoilers or anything coming from us.
All right,
we didn't even mention Lechonk in the first battle.
Yeah, and it's getting a chance to do a bit of damage too.
Oh no! Who could have seen it coming?
What happened?
Yeah, so perhaps unsurprisingly, this first fight and the next fight, it's optional to win the fight. It doesn't make a difference. So it's just faster to lose on purpose. And a level 3 Lechonk that you can you catch as a part of the catching tutorial in kind of the pre-setup of the run. We just use that to make these fights go super fast, and then we'll swap it out for our main after these 2 fights are over.
Yep. So we'll see one more fight with Lechonk as well. There's a bit of plot as well. So we're kind of being sidetracked over to Kitakami, where we're going to meet a couple new friends, and it's sort of like a field trip.
Yeah, we are in exchange, or no, that's later. Right now, we're just on a group field trip that we happened to be randomly selected for, along with some other non-named students in our class. And then those 2 students that we saw earlier are from Blueberry Academy, and this also happens to be the area that they're from, so they're familiar with the town and the village, and kind of will become our companions throughout the run.
Yeah.
And has there been any, I know with the any percent run, there was some, or with some of the single stories, Scarlet was, generally regarded as faster. Then there was some more recent push of Violet's. Is, for this category, is Scarlet still, I assume, regarded as the faster option?
As far as I know, not many people have really carried on with Violet. I kind of started with Violet myself. Yeah, I kind of started with Violet, and then when I realized it was... Usually I don't buy the second version, but because this game was so much fun, I wanted to kind of get as good a time as I possibly could, I dropped the extra, I guess, 80 Canadian for Scarlet, and don't regret it. But I'm not sure for this category whether Violet is fast. I guess T-Pat, Thomas Patrick WX, who's been on this show before, maybe not this show specifically, but on Hotfix before, he's still playing Violet as well, so. And has put up some pretty good times with the Espatha route, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there have been theories about why Scarlet runs faster than Violet, including, like, the particle effects of the ride Pokemon, or I don't know if that's ever been confirmed as a reason or just kind of a theory. But as we saw, you can see it more clearly in the full any percent run because it's much longer. That Scarlet just overall tends to be faster despite no huge differences.
Yeah, there are some minor differences in the very end game of any percent, which technically should make Violet faster. At least that was the case before the DLC came out. I'm not sure if that's still the case now. But I'm not super familiar with it exactly because I haven't done any percent. I've only done the single stories.
Yeah, the single stories range from about just under an hour to maybe just over 2 hours, and whereas any percent is closer to 5 hours, so a bit of a commitment.
Got it scratched there from Centret. That's interesting. Usually see quick attack. At least I do.
Yeah, I think I've gotten quick attack like every time.
All right, that's gonna be it for Lechonk. We thank Lechonk for its service. From now on, we have to win every fight. Losing is not faster. I'm actually going to pull out my Meditite now. We wouldn't do this for the for PB attempts because it's an extra menu. But if I run into a wild Pokemon, which this game is notorious for the very small little Pokemon that are roaming around and camouflaged perfectly with the terrain, Lechonk will not be able to run away from them, and I do not have any Pokédolls.
Yes, and it's also very... Oh, this is...
Yes, and this is a thing. This is a cutscene that came about with the second DLC dropping as well. So, we cry because we lose 12 seconds, or something like that.
Yes. You just met Kieran and Carmine, and they've already recommended you to study abroad at their school. They've personally recommended you to the director. So, I guess you made a good first impression on them.
By losing to them, yep.
Yeah.
All right, this is another candy that's not mandatory. I don't have, this is not in the main route for this, but oh, that's not good. But I'm gonna grab this guy here and then jump down here. Oh, not that way. We're gonna go this way. You saw when I was going up the staircase there, I was sliding up the stairs, and that's some pretty neat little movement tech that was discovered by Spider C, who's commentated on Hotfix before. And they came up with that really interesting little movement tech, which is it's faster to slide up the stairs than slowly walk up the stairs, because you don't actually run up the stairs.
This is our first little quest that's going on, is that we are taking in with these signboards that are kind of telling the folk tale of the land and checking in with Kieran throughout them. And he, being a resident of the land, is kind of filling us in and on the full details of the story and his affinity for the ogre that's seemingly the villain of the story.
Ooh, I could have maybe grabbed that X special attack. Let's see if I actually could use it. No.
Not making a difference.
No. It would have been at best a 50-50 range.
Yeah.
Not going to do that. We'll just go for the inaccurate move instead, because it's more likely to hit 90% accurate moves than to hit a 50-50 range. And yeah, so in the chat, people are talking about accessing the Indigo Disc before completing Teal Mask. As far as I know, you can access elements of the Indigo Disc before finishing the main story, but you can't complete a good chunk of it. But someone could correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You would know better than me, Gavin, I think.
Yeah, I've at least done the intro bit of the second DLC, and so after you get that phone call that we saw just a few minutes ago, inviting you to travel to Blueberry Academy, you can basically go into the main wild area that they have, the terrarium, and so you can have access to all the wild Pokemon, but pretty quickly with the cutscenes, you get stopped and they say, "Hey, go become champion and come back." So there's not much plot progression you can do, but you have pretty much full access to the area. And I assume things are probably... I guess I haven't verified this personally, but at least when you visit it post-champion, everything that in the wild is, over level 60. So you would have issues with obedience if you were able to catch something there.
All right, I'm just going to take this very carefully here.
And there we go.
Yeah, I don't... Oh,
Nope.
Speaking of small Pokemon, this is a cutie fly. It might be very high level, actually. 18, it should be fine. I can run away from that.
Yeah, so as you saw there, and can very likely see later in the run, when you're on the ride Pokemon, you have a fairly large hitbox. And you can hit things that seemingly did not touch you.
Yeah. It's gotten better since they've added or released new patches. You still see it every now and then, though. Yeah, you'd be like 20 feet away from something and get an encounter. It's very strange. I haven't personally gotten many of those recently, but you do see them every now and then. Yeah, we're just kind of doing our little, we call it around the world or trick or treat because we're picking up lots of candy. That's a Heracross. But we're going to get into some fights fairly soon, and then there's some really interesting fights towards the end of the run as well, which that's kind of how the routing works for a lot of these games, is we kind of try to figure out what's the biggest crux to deal with and kind of build our experience route around that. What fights we need to do, or in this case, what candies we need to pick up, because the fights don't give that much experience. I want to go this way.
And while we do have access to some higher level Pokemon here that we could theoretically catch, the way obedience works in this game is a little different than past games. That's the obedience is decided based on what level you caught the Pokemon at, and you have to have a certain number of badges for it to obey you. So at the very beginning of the game, you can catch things up to level 20, and if you caught anything that was over that, it wouldn't listen to you until you had the next badge. So if you were to catch something like level 65, it wouldn't listen to you until you had all or nearly all of the badges.
Yeah, I think it's all of them.
Yeah.
I know for Victory Road, we use, for a doubles partner, a level 55 Hariyama. It will not obey you until you have 7 badges. That's why we do the double battles gym last. But yeah, this Meditite's level 20, so that's perfect. Any one level higher and it would not obey. You can find level 21 Meditites in the area I was hunting for it, but they're in very specific areas. I've noticed higher up on the hill, I tend to see more of the level 21s. But the really great thing is that for Meditite, at least, it's always going to be level 20. So you always need to get the same number of candies every run. Some of the other mains, like Espathra, they come, at least the form that they evolve from, Flittle, it comes at a bunch of different levels, and you have to get different candies amounts based on what level you catch it at, which is kind of unfortunate. But
Yeah, I know from the Espeon route that there's only one static Eevee, so it's only coming at one level, and that level is 10. So it requires a little bit extra candies to get there.
Espeon's pretty cool. What's everybody's... Let's get some chat engagement here. What's everybody's favorite evolution? Mine is probably... It's probably a bit controversial, but I really like Leafeon.
Yeah, definitely. People have mixed. We know certain people have mixed opinions on it. I like Leafeon. My favorite's always been Jolteon, though. But I kind of gravitate towards electric types too.
Yeah, it's kind of like that me with grass types.
Yeah, I lean towards Flareon, and I like fire types. Weird.
Yeah, what a coincidence.
Flareon's a solid one too. I really like Flareon. Oh, we got a little lag spike there. Can't go without one of those.
Yeah, if you see things stuttering on screen, that is probably not Twitch or your internet. That's just the way the game looks.
Item, please. Thank you. Yeah, but if I had to pick a second favorite, I kind of like Glaceon as well. And Espeon probably is close to Glaceon.
There are no bad ones in my opinion. It's just, you know.
Yeah, they all have their advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah. All right, so we are coming up close to the end of the candy hunt.
Oh, I can't see a thing through this. I'm gonna touch that. I'm gonna touch that sign. I do not want to talk to it because that'll trigger a fight with Kieran, and we're not really prepared to deal with him just yet. Actually, we have to fight him a previous time anyway, so it's. I need that, and then I want to grab this guy over here. I want to go to. Oh God.
Yeah, you had it.
Oh.
Back to... You don't want the Infernal Pass?
You're right.
Because I believe the next step is Kieran's going to show us where the ogre supposedly lives.
That's true. All right, we're very shortly going to level up, use all these candies that we've picked up and level up our Metatype, as well as teach it a bunch of moves. I'm going to pick up a couple more items first. That's the important one, but I'll just pick up the other item before I use them. Gonna grab one more full restore here. All right, we just emptied that pocket of the bag.
And then we'll remind some moves, which, if you're not familiar with this game, is also a new feature they added where you can just reteach old moves at any time, which is very convenient.
Oh, yeah.
So this run is going to rely a lot on these inaccurate moves, and by which we mean 90% accuracy. And it is possible to get through the whole run without missing any of them. That's the ideal scenario. But, you know, it's 90%. It can seem sometimes like 50% in a Pokemon game.
Ooh, that was kind of dicey. I was afraid I was going to fall down before the cutscene probably triggered, but didn't happen. But yeah, High Jump Kick is 130 base power, and it gets the same type attack bonus, which means because I'm a fighting type, I get a 50% boost. It also has, well, it's a 10% chance to miss, and if you miss, you lose half your health. So in a lot of cases, if we miss, we might just completely die because the opposing Pokemon might finish us off. I'm going to be playing things very safe in this run. I will not be using High Jump Kick on any of the scary fights. I'll be doing an extra move teach to teach something a little bit safer. Zen Headbutt is also 90% accurate.
Yeah, it does not have the recoil danger or the miss danger. It's just it will not take damage if you don't make the attack.
And I have Ice Punch. Ice is just really great coverage as well. And Psybeam, which is part of the moveset to begin with, is a special attack, and I'm going to be using it primarily just because I don't want to miss or deal super effective damage to either Carmine or Kieran. If you deal super effective damage to them, they tell you that you've really mastered your type matchups. Kind of, I don't know if they're probably related to Hop from Galar, but It's quite a bit of time lost if that happens.
Yep, whenever you, the first time you hit a super effective move against them in a fight, or you hit a critical hit, they will have a little quip to say in return.
Right, so Kieran is interested in this supposed ogre of Kitakami. Very, very curious about that. We're investigating its lair. It's not home, unfortunately, but we saw a mysterious figure just there. I wonder who that could be. But yeah, even though my special attack is as worst as it could be, I haven't actually checked to what my... I can check what my IVs are now that I've leveled up again, but I was still able to use it in that fight because those Pokemon are level 15 or something like that. They're quite a bit lower level, so they're not too much to worry about there.
Yeah, we will be over-leveled for the first couple of fights, but by the end, things will be catching up, and or even if they've not caught up, we'll have extra large HP bars in some cases.
Okay. Now we fly back to the town. I definitely did that correctly. I'm going to pick up one more X attack on the ground. I probably won't need it, but I'm just going to be a little bit extra safe. You can never be too safe in Pokemon speedruns.
Mm-hmm. And plot-wise, basically what happened is that Kieran remembered that tonight is the first night of the village festival and has invited us to go with him. And now everybody is going to get ready for the event. So it's a little, well, we've got one more battle, and then there's a bit of a break where we will have some cutscenes and a fun mini game.
Which, unfortunately, it is slower to actually participate in the mini game, even though we're technically forced to participate, but actually do the tasks. We'll get to that later. I like the outfits for the festival here. They're pretty good. Much better than the school uniforms, in my opinion.
Yeah, I even tried out some of the second wave DLC uniforms and was like, I like the festival garb better. And there's a special festival garb if you like donate $1 million to the
oh geez,
to the town to fix one of the monuments, and but I believe you can only give like 100,000 at a time. So you just have to like sit there for 5 minutes saying, "Here's some money, thanks. Here's the next wave of money, thanks."
Yeah, so that's a little more cutscene. This is kind of the lower key, slowed down part of the run. There's quite a bit of action at the beginning because we're catching our Meditite and doing a couple battles. LeChonk's getting some action. We got one more fight here, of course, but then after that we're going to have a bit of a plot dump, and then it's going to be a lot of action at the end. Alright, so this fight I don't have to worry about using any moves that can miss or super effective. So that Morpeko, all our other moves either don't do damage at all or they're super effective. Not to mention they can miss, so Ice Punch makes the most sense.
And we'll be
Same
seeing
thing
a lot
for-
more of that Morpeko in future fights,
Oh god, yeah.
which can either be very helpful or not so helpful.
Oftentimes not helpful. But I have faith. Yes, the Pokemon that just came out there, that's called Poltergeist. It's sort of a Pokemon that's related to Sinistea.
Yeah, both Kieran and Carmine have, well, Kieran will soon have, I guess they're both alternate variants of Galar Pokemon, because Kieran has the Diplin,
Ah, yes.
and Carmine has the Poltergeist. So both new mons that were introduced in this DLC.
I actually looked when this DLC came out. I saw that you could catch decently high-level Applin, and you could pick up apples. So I thought, Flapple might be good, but it's one got a weird level curve. I think it's erratic, actually, which is not the
Yeah,
best.
I believe so.
And not to mention, grass types are very, very bad for this run.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of poison moves going around.
All right, so we are about to go to the Festival of Masks. And here's something I didn't do in my PB, and I only found out about it after I got my PB. Is you can actually ride Pokemon up these stairs. I did not know that, so I have a little bit of time save, which is probably now more than erased by the fact there's an extra cutscene because of the Blueberry
Yeah,
Academy.
true.
So. The reason why I thought you couldn't ride Pokemon up those stairs is because you cannot actually ride Koraidon in this case in this festival. So it's one of the couple areas that you're forced to, and actually we saw that as soon as we entered the area. After it got off, I guess, the plane to Kitakami. Cannot ride in that first route.
Yeah, they want to make sure you stay on the ground and just trigger that cutscene with the caretaker of the community center before they let you start riding around and exploring.
Yeah.
And then here, if you even try to slightly get side out of the confines of the festival, they push you back in and say, no, there's a festival going on. You can't leave. And I forgot why during this scene, you all pose for a photo, and you never see the photo that was taken, even though you take a photo like at the signposts, that you take photos when you get gyms and badges. But for some reason, we just see the flash and move on.
Maybe it comes up in the Indigo disc.
Possibly. I haven't made it there yet, so could be.
Yeah, the music is pretty solid here, even though this section of the run is not super exciting. It's just a little bit of movement and some text boxes. The music is quite nice.
All right, and now is the moment we've all been waiting for, Ogre Austin.
It's a shame that we don't actually do more for the run, that you need to do more. That would be fun.
Yeah. It's if you haven't done it before, it's a little mini game where you collect berries and bring them back to these baskets, and you have a goal of every round of collecting berries in a certain amount of time. And if you do well, they give you mochi, which basically act like vitamins, like protein or carbos. But at least in this run, to get that reward, you would have to do 3 rounds of this, which is not fast, and it's much faster to just wait the 2 minutes. So we're just going to hang out for a little while.
One thing I was doing when I was doing runs of this is I would pull up. If anyone's done Sporkle quizzes, Sporkle's a website where you can do like quizzes that are timed. And so I found 2-minute geography quizzes that I would do. It's like geography from A to Z or Z, depending on where you're from. And the goal was to try to do as well as possible in that 2-minute time frame.
What did your Sporkle PB end up being?
I think I got like 70% on one of them, maybe. This music does start to pick up the pace as it gets to the end, and that makes it almost stressful to do the quiz. But yeah, if you get any of these berries, even one of them, it is slower. So I usually just sit there and just do the quiz, and then make Karadon very dizzy as well. But yeah, if you need to go to the bathroom, this is a perfect time to do that as well. It is a short run, so you got lots of time between runs, but if you really need to go, this is the best time to do it. And Church, Ben, let us know when we're ready to go for a break, because this is probably one of the sections of the run where it's more optimal. There's not a whole lot happening.
Yeah. Do you want to... We got like another 10 minutes, but we can take it like after this section's done before we get into something more interesting if you wanted.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is actually, once I get out of the festival, there's going to be a little more dialogue. We're going to talk to the grandpa of Carmine and Kieran, and he's going to tell us a long-winded tale about the ogre. And then maybe right after that, we can take the break.
Sure, sounds good.
That'll be in about 4 minutes or so.
So Carmine is gloating here because we did not beat her score. She had something in the thousands, and we had a 0. But the game attendant still gave us a prize of an EXP charm.
Which is somewhat helpful, I guess.
Yeah. Basically, it multiplies all the EXP you gain there forward by 1.5. And so, you might gain an extra level over the course of the run where you might not have normally gotten it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when this is kind of incorporated into the 80% with the full DLC added on, because you get the EXP charm. It could potentially be helpful, although it's highly unlikely to, because we're going to be over-leveling quite a bit. Picking up all those EXP candies, so the extra experience from the fights doesn't matter too much.
The charm does not affect candy EXP.
If only.
That's a flat number. All right, so this is the mysterious creature that we got a sneak peek of earlier, and there would be a little scene that plays here, but we have cutscenes turned off, and the mask it's wearing kind of falls down the stairs to us, and it runs away.
Yeah.
Even though we have cutscenes turned off, there's still quite a bit of dialogue that happens, but there are 2 or 3 different, little clips that we are able to skip, like that one.
Yeah, we have a couple people in chat kind of clarifying how the DLC works. So you buy the full package, DLC 1 and DLC 2. You pay only once for both, and then the second part released a few months after the first part. But you can choose not to install the second part if you want. That's also an option. Which we didn't really talk about how the patches have kind of worked for this game. The The patches have generally patched out a lot of the really awesome and interesting glitches that have been found, including the super glide glitch. If you haven't seen that, definitely, it's probably on YouTube somewhere. Probably find a good video. And unfortunately for us speedrunners, the performance of the game hasn't improved a whole lot with the patch. However, there was one Nintendo Switch sort of firmware update that... I gotta go outside, not back to bed. That actually improved the performance of this game specifically, and as far as we know, not any other Switch titles. We just saw huge improvements just by going through cutscenes in this category. Dynam is another runner of this game who found that out doing a run. He's like, I'm not going to PB, and he ends up PBing by like 10 seconds just from a dialogue section. So that's pretty crazy. But aside from that extra text box that we now have to deal with because of the... well, I should get on my ride. So used to being in the festival. We'll see if how the full other categories perform with the latest edition.
Yeah, it's always kind of a mystery whenever an update comes out, that people are always hoping there'll be performance fixes, and then it usually ends up just patching, certain exploits or mechanics, like battle mechanics that weren't working as intended. And the performance kind of varies patch to patch, and we're still kind of exploring and always doing research to see what's most optimal or what's been updated, what's changed.
Yeah, one thing that is interesting to talk about here, other than the story, which is kind of interesting if you read through it. We're gonna mash through everything, so if you can read fast. That text box, or that sort of input we had to do where we had to select the Teal Mask and show it to Grandpa here, it's one less input now. For whatever reason. It ends up at the bottom of your inventory.
Yeah, no idea why it was third before. It seems like an odd placement, but...
Yeah, it should go at the bottom of your bag, because that was the most recent item you got, but...
Yeah. If you're curious about the lore, basically we learned from the signposts that we were visiting with Kieran that the ogre came to town and these 3 loyal beasts, chased it away because it was terrorizing town. And now we're finding out that the ogre was kind of an outcast, and it wasn't until a kind person made them masks, the ogre and their partner masks, that they were accepted by the town and welcomed, and this kind of started the Mask Festival. And then it turns out the loyal beasts were actually not as nice as everyone thought, and wanted the masks for themselves and stole them. And so the ogre, being upset at this, retaliated against them. But the townsfolk only saw the ogre in a fury and thought it was, the enemy. So basically, Grandpa is the only one that knows the real truth, that the ogre is the victim in the story, whereas everyone else thinks that the ogre is the villain.
Yeah, so we're going to hopefully try to solve this mystery of who this kid is, and which you might be able to tell based on what they look like and from the lore section we saw there. So I'm bringing up Dash in chat. So you can actually get Dash to speed up your ride Pokemon, and that's used in several of the single story categories to go faster. However, we found that for this category, as well as Starfall Street, which is another one of probably my favorite, actually, single story category. It's actually faster just to skip getting dash, because you have to do a fight, you have to do a massive dialogue section, and even though you're moving slower at the time, you still save time overall. So it's kind of good because you don't, if you're moving fast, you have less reaction time, and you're going to bump into all those little tiny Pokemon. But in but moving slowly, you still do. I ran into one in this run today, so it doesn't completely rule it out.
Yeah, it feels like in Kitakami they're especially well hidden and especially tiny and easy to run into.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna be coming up soon on, when we get control back here, we can go to break.
Sounds good.
I think that's right here, right? I always forget. Yep, right, go here.
Awesome. So during these longer runs, we like to take a break just so everybody can get up, stretch, get some water, anything they need to do. Just a quick reminder before we do go to break. If you've missed out on any of our other Hotfix shows, you can go check them out over on youtube.com/gamesdonequick. You can check out all of our VODs there. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the rest of the run. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. We are in the middle of a Pokemon, the Teal Mask run, as part of our Best of 2023 showcase. I'll hand it right back over whenever you're ready, if you just want to give a quick 3, 2, 1.
Absolutely. We'll get right back into it. I'm going to open up my map and fly to the next place. Going in 3, 2, 1, go. No, that's wrong.
We have to talk to Kieran in the communities, the square.
Yeah, the game does help you out a little bit with the little indicators on the map, but as you can see, while we were on break, it started raining. Rain is in certain areas of the game, it lags quite a bit. We're about to actually actually, we have one more fight first, so the rain might be done by then, but there's an area coming up that's pretty laggy. Now we're going to go up here. Oh, God, I hate this. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. It's good practice to maybe zoom in, but because then it's easier to distinguish between the sort of plot element as well as the fly point, but that won't be the last time we see that in this run. All right, here's round 3 with Kieran. We're our record is 1-1 against him so far. Go ahead, Gavin. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, for the map purposes, it can get kind of confusing in this run because you are going back and forth between the same locations multiple times, and so it can be very kind of have to. Sometimes those exclamation marks help to remind you what the next task is. But Kieran here is a little bit more leveled up compared to last time, but still far behind us, so this will not be too much trouble.
Yeah, here's where we get to debut Zen Headbutt. Pretty decently powerful move, 80 base power, gets the same type attack bonus, is 90% accurate. It can cause a flinch too. It's not super, it might, I don't think you can flinch the Titans actually. But, oh, Baby Doll Eyes, that's unfortunate. We will still KO though, I think. Yeah. The unfortunate side effect of Baby Doll Eyes is now Zen Headbutt will not KO the next Pokemon. So I have to switch to something that's even more exciting. Which is not Ice Punch. Ice Punch will KO, but I get that flavor text from Kieran, so I'm gonna... Hopefully we can hit... We're good accuracy in the rain. Awesome.
No problem.
Yeah, so I jump kick again. On this fight, it's not too bad if we miss. If I missed, I probably would just go for Ice Punch, because if I miss again, bye-bye Metacham. But, yeah, you're holding your breath on a lot of these fights.
Especially that Dipplin, because I think it has, like, a signature move that lowers your speed every turn. So if you get hit by it, then you also have like a speed drop animation every turn. It's just
jeez,
really adds up if you do miss or not hit the range.
Its ability is annoying too. It drops evasiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in terms of like, we got a question in the chat. What sort of strategies do we use in terms of mons used? Generally, we use one Pokemon for the whole run. There are a couple mons that we do have, like for example, that trusty Lechonk was used to intentionally lose a few battles because it's faster to do so. In the Starfall Street run, we have to have 3 mons in order to complete the bases. And in Victory Road, as well as any percent, we need any percent we need 3 no matter what, because we're doing. Oh, I need to go here. Nope. Yeah, there we go. But we also, for the Victory Road run, which is the gym badges, we have to have a partner Pokemon for double battles. So just trying to get that second Mon and third Mon as quickly as possible. So catching something that's high level, ideally, really helps a lot.
Yeah, and a run like this, and most runs in general for Scarlet Violet, having one Pokemon in your party really helps during battles, because there is no option between switch or set mode in this game. And so if you have more than one Pokemon in your party, it's going to ask you every time the opponent is going to send out a new Pokemon, do you want to switch? But if you only have one Pokemon in your party, it's never going to ask you that because you can't switch. And so that few seconds adds up and just makes things a lot quicker over the course of the run. And we will be purposefully making some decisions later in the run because of that. Specifically for the very last fight.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so in the last time we talked with Grandpa here, we gave him the Teal Mask to fix, but unfortunately he can't fix it. He needs one more special ingredient. I don't remember what it's called. It did flash up quickly, but I wasn't paying attention. A crystal cluster, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
So, Carmine here wants us to join her on a hike up the mountain to go get it. Unfortunately for her, we have already gotten the fly point and the mountain. So, I could have gone to this next area already, kind of in my sort of around the world section of the run, but I'm opting to just do it now.
Does it make much of a difference either way? I've always been just getting the fly point early.
Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like it's minimal.
Yeah.
Because I kind of jumped down into the Paradise Barrens after kind of coming up here and picking up the full restore and whatnot, so you'd have to go tag the fly point and then come back down the hill.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say. There are some good items you can get when you come down as well, so it could potentially be useful in certain situations. And we're going to try to avoid all these little Pokemon. Lots of Geodudes, and even the Spoinks are kind of hard to see. That's a Litwick. It's possible we could see a shiny in this run. It's very unlikely, but it'd be pretty hype if we did. I have seen shinies in runs of... I don't think I've seen one in this category, but I've seen one in either Path of Legends or Starfall.
Yeah, I've seen actually a shiny Spoink in that area we just were at.
Oh, nice.
Kind of did a double take and was like, well, it was cool to see it, but I'm doing a run right now, so just ride on by.
All right, so unfortunately, before we get our... It's also funny, she tells us, you have a Pokemon that can swim to get this Crystal Cluster. Well, unfortunately, we don't have the swim ability on Koraidon yet, so that's not entirely true. All right, so here is our first double battle. It shouldn't be too much of a double battle, because ideally I just hit my move and the fight is over immediately, but... Excellent. All right. Very nice. That is the second last high jump kick I will be going for in the run. As I mentioned earlier, I'm playing this a little bit safer. I picked up a bunch of extra stuff. I'm going to actually do an extra menu to reteach a move, which would obviously be slower for PB attempts, but I'm trying to minimize the high jump kick usage as much as possible.
In a PB attempt, do you know about how many high jump kicks you're doing?
It's a good question. The previous fight would be potentially the first one because of Baby Doll Eyes. You'd high jump kick here. You would high jump kick on the next fight. Just want to make sure. That's 3 so far. It's probably about 7 of them, I'd say. So far, I believe I have not missed.
Yep, nothing yet.
I did miss flying to the correct place once, but that doesn't really count, so...
So here we've returned from our quest to get the crystals to fix the mask, but we find out that Kieran has run off with the mask for some unknown reason, and we need to go track him down.
Luckily, he's not too far away. All right, this is round 4 with Kieran. So Kieran's kind of annoyed here that we've kind of left him out of our little quest to fix the mask. So he's kind of upset, as you can see. And he wants us to battle him so we get the mask back. This fight isn't too bad. I'm going to have to hit a few of our favorite 90% accurate moves. But these Pokemon aren't super high levels, so it's not terrible if I miss. It's obviously a little bit annoying.
Well, one thing we didn't mention is that the nice thing before a lot of these fights is that you do get healed.
Yeah.
So in the event we were to take damage or we're running low on PP, this DLC is pretty generous with them. But, you know, ideally we one-shot anything and aren't taking any damage to begin with.
Yeah. It's kind of made... I don't know if it's been a factor too much in a lot of the routing that's gone on, but a lot of other categories, we might be using the starter Pokemon, which have special abilities like Blaze and Torrent, which means you do more damage when you're below a third of HP. Unfortunately, you can't really take advantage of that too much in Scarlet and Violet because of all the free heals you get, even in the other categories. But for Medicham, we just want to be We just want to KO, one hit KO everything anyway. All right, here's the candy apple again. All right, cool. We did miss a high jump kick this run. Let's go. I'm actually going to do that reteach menu right after this fight so I don't forget. If I forget, it's technically fine, but I could lose a fight later. Multiple fights. Alright. Kieran, what Kieran just did there has had some very unintended consequences, as we will shortly see. When he punched the shrine.
Yeah, so that was the shrine to the quote-unquote 3 loyal beasts. But that we found out were not the loyal. But that punch seems to have awakened something, which has a cutscene here that we will skip. And magically they're back to life.
Yeah, so these guys are kind of the crux of the run. They're all male. They're all pretty strong Pokemon. They're all poison type. They all have the same ability, toxic chain, which means there is I believe it's a 30% chance that no matter what move they use against you that does damage, you get poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little unfortunate if that happens. They're also very nefarious.
Yeah, so our kind of next act of the run is just chasing them down and kind of wrangling them in and stopping their reign of terror, I suppose. Although the villagers aren't disturbed by them, they think they're great.
All right, we're flying to ogre ousting, but we're not going to go oust any ogres this time.
So here everyone is so excited because they just saw the Loyal 3 and shared all their gifts with them, including feeding them and giving them their sacred masks. And
a bunch of Moki as well.
Yes, just delighted to help them.
Turns out they give a lot. It seems like they give a lot of Moki to these Pokemon because we'll talk a little bit later about sort of when we fight these Pokemon, what sort of buffs they get. But they really beefed them up pretty good. All right, so now we need to go to the dreaded den, which is over here. Well, we passed by it. We have to fly this way. So this is technically not the fastest way to get to the next area. You can actually fly to the Crystal Lake. I think it's, I don't know, Crystal Pool. And whoa, that is a coughing.
Ooh.
That wants to say hello. And it's a tiny bit faster if you do that, but you have to do a little more technical movement to do so. And I'm going to just opt for not embarrassing myself on Hotfix and just do this. Also because I've never practiced it, so.
Yeah, jumping over, ledges and stone walls and such like that is always risky because you're going to land on something you think is, land on lots of seemingly not flat surfaces that are flat surfaces and getting the landing animation. And apart from you just kind of have to know where you're going without much sight.
Yeah. Oh, there's our ogre. She's being tormented by the lousy 3, or loyal 3, depending on your point of view. And so for some reason, we have to fight this little fella in its normal form, but we don't fight either of the other two, which is very curious. I don't know why that is the case. Not going to complain, though. I'd rather fight 1 than 3.
And even this guy will have some little dialogue if you use a super effective move and don't KO him, or you crit him.
Yeah.
There will be a little text box.
Yeah, so that's Monkey Dory. He's poison psychic. So we don't have exactly a type advantage over him, but we're not weak to his attacks, and that's the important thing. Okay, I did say that I was going to teach that move. I'm going to do it now. I still have a bit of time. We have to do a little bit more plot first, but I've been kind of teasing this move learn for quite a while now, but I'm going to actually do it. Ogrepon's kind of like the legendary featured in this DLC. Pretty decent stats, actually.
Yeah, if you've been following the VGC scene at all, you'll see that Ogerpon has become a very prominent fixture.
Hmm.
And basically what we're at with the plot right now is that we saw those the 3 run off, and now we have to go find out where they went and track them down. So we have to do a little, I guess it's kind of like a fetch quest, to just go and ask around the people around town where they went in order to then be able to fight them.
There you are. So you might be wondering why the heck I taught a move that's less than half the power of high jump kick. Well, this move can't miss, for one thing. And high jump kick, we don't really need all that power. It's just nice because we need that power in certain situations, and Force Palm doesn't really have much utility because it's not strong enough where we do need the power. We are technically past that area where we need that 130 base power, but we've also kind of added a few more levels to Metacham, so high jump kick is slightly less useful.
I assume you're primarily just going to use that for dark types, or are you using Ice Punch? I guess you'd use Ice Punch for that, so it's not super effective.
I'll be using it for the fight where you do 4 in a row. I won't spoil it too much.
I see.
It took me the longest time to find all these people the first time.
Yeah.
But more importantly, for the fights against these loyal 3 coming up, we're not using fighting moves at all. So we're going to be using Zen Headbutt. If I had good special attack, I could use Psybeam, but currently my special attack is very, very bad. I have minus special attack nature and either 1 or 2 IV. So it's almost as bad as it can be. I believe I've had runs where I've had 0 IV minus as well. But I also have 30 to 31 neutral at physical attack, which is very, very nice. So for this run, you ideally want to have plus attack. It's not as important with this specific EXP route that I'm doing because I'm a little higher level. But for like the lower level route, you need, if you want to have a really fast, safe run, as safe as it can be, given you're using inaccurate moves, you want to have pretty decent IV on a plus special attack nature. All right, first, this is a really hard one, so I'm just going to zoom in. There we go. Triggering that is a little annoying.
And you might see that they look, the Loyal 3 look a little bit different now.
So the Loyal 3, they have, I don't know, I think it's a 4 times boost to their HP right now. And I did some math to calculate how many HP vitamins or Moki they would need to eat to get a 4 times boost to their HP, and it's several hundred of them, which is technically not possible in terms of EVs. Fighting this one first, if I had a certain speed IV, I would actually fight this one second because I would outspeed it with the level up, because I'm currently just shy of a level threshold. So an X attack here. Hopefully we see it hit our buddy Morpeko here.
And are we going to be looking for like a Leer for Morpeko? Does that not matter?
That is helpful, yes. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
I wonder if I should Terra just to see how much it does, because I'm pretty high level. We're just gonna do regular. We're gonna Terrastalize later. Spoilers. Oh, I should have Terra'd. That would have KO'd. I wonder if I crit there actually. No, I didn't.
No.
Apparently not.
Okay. Yeah, ideally for these you want a one-hit KO because it avoids.
Got a 1 turn or 2 turn.
Yeah, not bad. If you are able to one-hit KO one of the Loyal 3, it skips Carmine's little text, the super effective text or the crit text, stuff like that.
Yeah, I also lied. I'm not at the level threshold. I don't know where I got that from. Ignore what I just said. I did something wrong in my calcs. It's all good. This is a route I made for this GDQ Hotfix show, so it's not something I'm gonna run again. Or maybe I will if I do a marathon run of it. But as I mentioned, I could have done the terrestrialization there, which is sort of the Mega Evolution type mechanic of Gen 9. And that would have given me a roughly 33% boost to my psychic moves. Actually, I'm fighting Terra. I can't do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That would have been very bad if I had Terra there, because it would not have KO'd, and it went for Psybeam, and I would have been weak to Psybeam, because I become a physical Mon, or a fighting Mon, I should say, with Terra fighting. So unfortunately, we're not going to see terrestrialization in this run. If anyone, sorry to disappoint anyone in chat.
Well, we will not be terrestrializing.
That is true.
But there will be one occurrence.
That is right. All right, this one here is one that, depending on my special attack, I could actually use special attack. So this is Okie Dokie. It is poison fighting. It is 4 times weak to psychic attacks right now. So but my special attack is hot trash, so I'm going to use Zen Headbutt again. Now, Morpeko is not terribly useful here. You know, it likes to go for Thunder Shock. I've only seen it leer maybe once or twice on this thing. Hey, Poison Fang into Morpeko, which is good. No poison, that is very rare.
Nice.
Also faster, which is good. Okay, so Zen Headbutt. If I had better special attack, I would consider going for... Oh, there's Toxic Chain. I would consider going for Psybeam here, but...
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's our first miss. Okay. See what happens here. Okay, Morpiko's gonna die. Alright, well, that's not great, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, it was bound to happen. Or very likely to happen.
Yeah, this is not getting a miss in these runs is... This run is very, very good. Let's try that again. There we go.
It is also good you got it that time because I think the Toxic would have brought you down below half HP, which triggers the
Oh yeah,
the Ogre Pond little cheering scene.
that is true.
All right, so the paths to the first two were pretty simple, but we will be taking a bit of a unusual path to get to this third one.
Yeah, and the third one is also like the worst fight out of the three. Because it is the only one of the three that has a super effective move on Medicham. I want to go to Crystal Pool. Alright, so this is... Aside from the movement that's optional that you can do to save a couple seconds, this is probably the hardest movement in the run. Okay, go up here. I should say it's probably the hardest movement to do fast and properly. Oh, that's okay, game, please. My heart stopped for a second there. Might have had a game crash live on Hotfix. Okay, that was kind of slow, but all good. Ah, get up here. Okay.
And Pheasantipity is a little unlike the others in that we have to go chase it down, whereas the other ones were just static.
So it goes into this mysterious cave. Let's follow it. No, let's not. Let's go this way instead. I have a good feeling about going this way. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, it should be fine. That was...
A little close.
Yeah, you can just go that way. It's much faster. It's kind of fun going through that cave, but it's substantially slower. All right, so this is Pheasantipity. So we also didn't mention that each mon gets a boost to one of its stats. So we got special attack defense boost on the Monkey Dory, a defense boost on the Okidogi, and now we get a speed boost on Pheasantipity, which means it will always outspeed. And it has Dazzling Gleam, which is fairy type, super effective on fighting. If I had Psychic Terra type, I would Terrastalize here to both do more damage and take less damage from this thing. But because I'm fighting Terra, I'm going to use this handy dandy X special defense first. So this fight's just slow because of this. My special defense isn't great either. It's like 7 IV neutral, so...
And I imagine because you and Morpeko are both weak to Fairy, that it's just going to go for Dazzling Gleam every single time.
Yeah, I believe that's the main reason. If Morpeko survives and uses Leer, it's pretty huge, but it almost likely dies. I think it's 25% to live. X attack. Okay, I could go X attack again, but I'm just gonna start attacking. So I will 2-hit KO with Zen Headbutt here. Oh, I got some health. Let's go. Thanks, Poltergeist. So that actually saved me from getting Ogerpon healed.
Oh yeah.
But I might still get that regardless here because of this fact this fight's kind of slow. Ooh, okay. Poltergeist could be a friend. That would be huge.
It does know Asanish. Which is a move.
I'm going to Psybeam next turn because that's very likely going to KO.
Oh, okay.
Stun Spore, okay.
Not bad.
I'll go first, at least. Actually, I'm just going to go for Ice Punch. Ice Punch should KO from here. Don't go below half. Perfect. So this is a very slow fight. We would not run Fighting Terra Metacham in PB attempts, but we won the fight, and that's the important thing. Nice and safe. That's the scariest fight in the run. Well, the next fight actually can be quite scary, but I'm playing that safe because of the fact I taught Horse Palm. And I do have plenty of X attacks. I could have maybe X attacked again and just one-shot, but all good.
Oh yeah, you may have noticed Kieran wasn't with us through those 3 battles. Decided he was going to do something else on his own. So now he wants to show us what he was up to while we were defeating the Loyal 3.
Yeah, he actually is doing something that's very good, as it turns out. Fly back to here. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. So yeah, Ogerpon's not super happy about going into the town because of all the animosity towards her in the past. But Kieran has actually gone and tried to change the minds of the folks in the town. Let them know that Ogerpon is actually a good ogre.
But now that we're kind of somewhat resolving the story, we've saved Ogerpon from the Lousy 3 and brought peace to the town, I suppose. We are kind of coming up on the tail end of the story, and the only thing left seemingly to do is to escort Ogerpon back home and wrap things up, and that will be that.
So again, here you could do that more technical movement. Also, I love how that den keeps spawning every time I fly here. That den will always show up on the save file. It's kind of interesting. And so there's actually one EXP candy that's kind of blocked by... It's not covered up completely, but it's kind of blocked from it by a den. So you have to kind of tiptoe around it. So see where that waterfall is there? You'd be jumping in from that cliff up above, because to the left is the crystal pool. So that's some pretty neat movement. All right.
Ogerpon is happy to be home, and we're saying farewell, but Ogerpon is having second thoughts and decides that she wants to come with us, which not everyone is excited about.
Now, Kieran wants Ogerpon all to himself. So he challenges us to a battle, and the victor will be Ogerpon's friend or partner. This fight is quite scary in PB attempts because there are a couple inaccurate moves that are used. I cut out some of that for this route, but I still have to hit one Zen Headbutt. I've got lots of X attacks, though, so if I die, I can just come back. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I realize I think I have 5 left, or maybe 4, so I got a couple tries. But we'll get it first try.
Yeah, Kieran has definitely leveled up his team since we last saw him, and has a couple scary Pokemon in particular.
Yep.
As we mentioned, that a lot of the mains for this route are psychic types. He starts with a Shiftry, which is obviously a dark type, and can be a little bit threatening right off the bat, kind of, in a lot of ways, limits you from setting up too much. Luckily, we're part fighting, so it's not as big of a threat.
Yeah, well, it has, for the fighting type, it has a great move called Aerial Ace.
Yeah.
Okay, now at last, we finally use a super effective move on this guy, and we get to see the flavor text. Oh, we get the crit as well. Double flavor text. Make it up for everything else. Let's go. You can't really beat him without using super effective moves. You'd have to set up an extra time, and it's kind of risky because if the Shiftry does a lot of damage, it can KO you.
And there will be, as we'll see shortly, a Mon that you cannot one-hit KO.
One shot, yeah. We also want to make sure we're pretty fast. This fight is the fight where the Gliscor and the Yen Mega, if they outspeed you, you pretty much lose. So this route, you can't run every single speed IV. But, ooh, I want to go Zen Headbutt on you. All right, we hit it. We win the fight. Let's go. But yeah, if you're too slow, you just lose. So you kind of have to. You only run certain speed IVs. You're a bit safer here. So this thing is part of the reason why I taught Horse Palm. Normally I would hit 2 Zen Headbutts here, or I would go Ice Punch into High Jump Kick. But I'm just gonna Force Palm. Didn't get the freeze on the big nose Pokemon. And then I have to Ice Punch this thing. I believe Diplin will go down to Zen Headbutt here, but if I miss, it's not good. So, and I've already gotten all my flavor text out of the way, so it won't happen again in the fight. So that's totally fair.
Yeah, once you do one super effective move, it's not too punishing to keep doing them.
No. All right, that is the last we see of Kieran until I presume Indigo Disc. In terms of fights, I don't actually know if we fight him there, but
I believe we do. At least from what I've seen so far, there's a heavy implication that you will.
Interesting. All right. Well, we have technically 2 more fights left. The first one's kind of like a multi-stage fight. First of the 2.
Yes, while Ogre wants to join our team, we can't just throw a Pokeball at it. We have to prove our strength.
Yeah, so it's time to battle Ogerpon. We talked about the fact that there would be a terrestrialization in this run. This is when it's going to happen. The Ogerpon is going to terrestrialize. So it has 4 masks, and depending on its mask that it's wearing, it will take on a different Terra type. So right now it's going to be a Fire type. It's also going to get a boost. It's going to get a boost to its attack, I think, here.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if I did my calcs correctly, and I did mess up calcs earlier, so we'll see what happens. Force Palm should KO everything here.
Yeah, so each mask gives a different stat boost upon terrestrializing, and also each mask comes with its own ability.
And so for PB attempts, I'd be Zen headbutting all but one of these, and I'd be using high jump kick on one of them. Force Palm, I'm just going to take my time with this. Yes, I did my calcs correctly. Let's go. I did calculations, so ideally we would use Zen Headbutt only if its accuracy was better than Force Palm's damage range. With minimal attack, neutral attack, it's a 14 and 16 range, and Zen Headbutt's 90% accurate, which is more likely to KO because of the accuracy. So only if I had bare minimum attack, I would actually have to use the dreaded inaccurate move on here. The next one is Rock type. It gets a defense boost, and because of that, you have to use high jump kick otherwise. And that's pretty scary.
And it is getting the defense boost, but luckily Rock is weak to fighting, so we will also be kind of negating that defense boost in a way.
Yep. The downside is we get flavor text, but you know what? We'll take it. I don't really have any choice here. And I normally would just Ice Punch the grass one because I've already gotten the super effective flavor text out of the way, but I'm just going to Force Palm because I'm already on. My cursor's already on Force Palm. Might as well keep using it.
And the stat boosts do reset during every form, so it's not like it just got a speed boost. It does not also have the defense boost and the attack boost still.
Imagine.
Ooh,
oh, I got a crit!
Text.
Oh, no. All the flavor text coming in right at the end. So one of my PBs on the final fight, I think I got like... I was going to play safe and do like safe strats with super effective text boxes just to make sure I don't miss. And then I got a crit. And got flavor text there. So if I use another super effective move, I would have gotten more flavor text and I would have not PB'd. So I actually had to clutch it out with using inaccurate moves when I didn't plan to. So that was a pretty interesting time. Also random leggy text boxes right here. Scarlet and Violet for you folks. I may have been the first person to catch in a speedrun to catch Ogerpon in a Dusk Ball. By the way, because I had that extra one. You normally don't have one of those here. Because normally I just get the one Dusk Ball to catch Meditite, and that's it. But I caught 2 just in case. Because the Meditite catch isn't guaranteed unless if I don't get a backstrike, it's 80% to get in or something. So if it breaks out, you can get another shot at it, but it can also just KO your Pokemon. That would have been very unpleasant. Okay, we're going to do something that's going to disappoint a lot of people in chat, and I apologize, but it's faster. If anyone's seen the Isle of Armor speedruns for Sword and Shield, this is kind of similar. Okay, boxes. Bye, Ogre Pawn. Well, she's gone home now. That's what happened. She's in her lair. So it's fine. Oh, and I want to go to...
Just releasing a legendary Pokemon. It's normal speedrun stuff.
Yeah, it is fat. It is slower to keep Ogre Pawn in your party, unfortunately.
Yeah, because Carmine here wants to have one last battle with us and wants to specifically battle against Ogre Pawn to see its strength. But once, if Ogre Pawn is just in your boxes, she'll say, oh, go get Ogre Pawn, I want to battle it. But if Ogre Pawn is nowhere in your boxes or your party, then she'll say, well, I guess we can still battle.
Yeah.
In addition, as mentioned earlier, that's text every time you want to switch, asking every time if you want to switch Pokemon would come up if you kept Ogre Pawn in your party. So it does save a few seconds to remove it rather than have all those text boxes come up during the battle.
All right. Here's the last fight with Carmine. This fight I could play safe and go all accurate moves. But I have to get flavor text. And we've gotten a lot of that recently. We got 2 crits. So we're going to play it a bit riskier for the fans here. And we're going to try to go for the no flavor text fight, which risks 2 Zen Headbutts. Did take damage there, which is ideal, even though it is a bit slow. So unfortunately I get Intimidate from Mightyena. That's kind of unfortunate. Because otherwise I wouldn't need to go for Zen Headbutt probably on... Well, actually I would, because one of the Pokemon I'm going to be facing is a Ghost type. Cannot hit that with Horse Palm. And that is Sinistcha. Oh, okay. Let's see what we get. Oh, yeah. There's extra text if that happens. Let's see what she does. Matcha Gotcha.
Let's
see what.
Yeah,
oh, I got
that's what I was afraid of.
Okay, full restore time, I think. Does that thing always burn?
I think it has a good chance of burning.
Okay, well I have 2 full restores, so I cannot win this fight burned. let me tell you. I might be able to actually. I'd have to go for like. Okay, be nice. Okay, we're just gonna do this.
Play it safe.
I'm scared now.
Yeah, Matcha Gotcha is a new signature move for that Pokemon, and it's a spread move, can burn,
Ooh.
and drains HP, and gives it to Sinistcha. So
that sounds pretty busted.
like Scald and Giga Drain at the same time.
Jeez. And it's spread.
Yes.
Yeah, so that Leavanny I would go for Zen Headbutt too, because I would otherwise need to Ice Punch, and then this Ninetales. Go for Force Palm, and that'll KO. Hooray! We still have some plot to go through at the end, but we're very close to. That's the last fight. What is the burn chance on Matcha Gotcha? I'm curious now. Someone in chat said they have never seen it burn before. Matcha Gotcha. 20%. Wow. This end game really did a number on me. All that flavor text and... Oh yeah, so a crit is 1 in 32 in this game. Or no, 1 in 24, I think? Yeah, 1 in 24. Chance to happen. Unlike earlier generations where it is 1 in 16.
Yeah, it's especially impressive when during the Gallade runs they managed to... I think I've seen Dynam get away with getting no crits over the course of the run when you're using things like Psycho Cut.
Yep. Yeah, so the Glade run is really, really cool. Shout outs to Dynam for kind of pioneering that one. That's probably the second fastest main for this. It could even be faster than Metacham. It just has not enough. There's not enough data and runs of it.
Yeah, for Gallade and Gardevoir, it's very hard to get on a run. To find an appropriate Kirlia, and it's whereas Metacham, it's you find it within the first couple minutes and can catch it fairly easily, and it's much easier to reset.
Yep. So Gallade needs to be, for Gallade you need to have a male Kirlia, it needs to have a certain ability, so it gets Sharpness as its ability when it evolves into Gallade, which boosts slicing moves like Sacred Sword, Psycho Cut. And a lot of those moves have a high crit chance. So you're really just holding your breath on a lot of these fights, praying you don't crit, because you don't need to crit. It's just time loss. Even more so than in earlier games because of all the flavor text. But yeah, the field trip is over. It's time to go back to Paldea. And maybe come back. Maybe the next DLC will be the next sort of step. But not today, unfortunately. I'm not going to be doing that today, but I'm sure someone will find a way to present this at a marathon or a type event. Unfortunately, to complete the Indigo Disc, which is the second part of the DLC, you need to do the entire run, any percent run, and this, and a little bit of post-game on top of that. So it's a very long run. It's about 9 hours currently is the fastest time, even though it just came out. I'm sure it'll come down a bit, but that's a very, very long run. But yeah, that's it for the Teal Mask. We're just gonna go through a little bit more text here. I don't think this ending time has changed compared to when Indigo Disc came out. There was some question as to whether it might, but
nope. Yes, it's still the same.
Yeah, it says to be continued. So there's gonna be a to be continued, and it's gonna sort of fade out, and that will be our cue to end the timer. Of course, we get a very cryptic little cutscene with Kieran here. He is definitely possessed by something. That smile. Ugh. All right, and here's that to be continued. And when this fades out, that'll be time. And time.
GG's
the run. Thank you. But yeah, that's it for the Teal Mask. It's a nice short run, a lot of fun to route, and the fights are very interesting. There's lots of very interesting stuff coming down the pipeline with Indigo Disc as well, so super excited to see what happens there. But yeah, if you're interested in running these games, if you go on src.com, you'll find a link to the Switch speedrunning Pokemon Discord, where you'll be able to find good resources, lots of great people, and whatnot for all of the Switch titles. They're pretty fun games. Even though a lot of people think the newer titles aren't as good as the older ones, they're still a lot of fun. There's lots of cool stuff happening and lots of good speedrun tech. So definitely recommend it if you're interested. Yeah, thanks Gavin for joining me on commentary. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was blessed.
And thanks for inviting us.
yeah, thank you both for being on and showcasing the run. This was a very entertaining, excellent run. Y'all both nailed it out of the park. And I do appreciate that you seemingly rerouted the entire run just to make it marathon friendly. I did notice that. I think you did that for the last run too, so that's a lot of work. So huge shout outs to you for that.
It's actually not too bad. There's not a lot of fights, so it's really quick, kind of just knowing the experience that comes in. But yeah, it took a little bit of extra effort. But I wanted to make sure this didn't go completely off the rails.
Yeah.
So
well, it is very appreciated.
What was the final time on this? Actually, curious.
1:50:16.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, record is about a 142 or 141, I think. So
That's pretty good for using
not bad at all.
PB strats.
Yeah, PB for me is a 143, I think. So, yeah, super glad to be here. Thanks again, guys, for having us. Appreciate it.
Yep. And thank you for showcasing the game. Again, super great run. With that being said, we don't have any more show for you today. We will have 2 more parts of this on the 23rd and the 24th. We've got, I think, like 7. No, not 7. It's like 9 other games. A bunch of the best games of 2023. So be sure to check that out next weekend, 23rd and 24th. We'll be starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we have more hotfix for you tomorrow. We're going to have Bargain Bin at 7 p.m., followed by Express Lane at 10 p.m. Hope to see you all there. Have a great night, everyone.